What is happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from Tallahassee.
Yo, man, skip the intro, man. Skip the intro.
Florida State falls to Jacksonville State, 20-17. 6 seconds left. A bomb down the field for a touchdown. Gentlemen, I don't know how you feel. 59-yard bomb.
So I'll go. So, first and foremost, while this game is not on Coach Fuller, this game was on the offense. How in the hell do you not play for them to not try to get a touchdown? Because there's 6 seconds left. A play in the middle takes about 4 or 5 seconds. I don't know. So, anyways, the play call is awful. The execution is even worse. What is Brownlee doing? Like trying to play the ball once it's caught. Tackle the. Who cares if it's a 57-yard catch? The game's over. You win. Tackle the guy. What is that? Like,
yeah.
The entire thing is awful. Like the amount of suck tonight was, I think, an all-time elite level of suck in every facet of the game for FSU. It should have never got to that point of having to stop Jacksonville State and Zarek Cooper from throwing a 59-yard touchdown.
It's one of the most embarrassing performances I've ever seen.
This is the worst loss. This is worse than 30-0 Wake.
It never should have been a game. I mean, if you think about all the drop passes, all the penalties, like
drop interceptions.
You think you're getting off the field on third down, then there's a holding call on defense. There's just so many little things that just add up. It's just like, what are you guys doing? The Wildcat on 3rd and 1 with 3 minutes left or 2 minutes left. Like, come on, man. Some of the play calls made no sense. Some of
the personnel made no sense.
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say. The personnel made no sense. I think Toafili's got a great future, but he was not it tonight. He shouldn't have gotten as much burn as he got down the stretch. It's just so much baffling things that you're like, man, what are we doing?
Toafili and Ward had the same amount of carries. Ward averaged, I think, 6 yards a carry. Toafili averaged 2.2. And he was in the game late, where Jashawn Corbin, averaged 7.9, I think, yards per rush, and was killing them.
Corbin was awesome.
About on the Mark Rogers Instant podcast, Steve and I, like, in short yardage, they were lining up ace formation, 3 tight ends in the game, and they were just running it down their throat. But now let's get cute and line up in Wildcat, where any team knows that Jashawn Corbin is not going to throw the ball. But let's line up and say, here, guys, we're going to run the ball, and most likely he's going to be up the gut because that's where he's going to look first. Here, guys, here's the answer to what we're doing. It's unfathomable, really, that Florida State has fallen this far that they can't get a 3rd and 1 against an FCS team.
I've never seen a team go out from last week and look absolutely a whole 180 just like that. I thought maybe they'd come up kind of slow. You were predicting that, Nate, where they'd come up slow after a kind of close game like that. And we've seen Florida State do that, but eventually they'll make it. But in this case, it just didn't feel like they wanted to be there. They didn't want to be there whatsoever. I mean, the environment there at the game, if you were there, where we all know it was pretty, rowdy a little bit there. I mean, there wasn't like it was last week, and of course it's not going to be, but it was rowdy. The crowd came, the student section brought it, but the team didn't want to be there. And that's the scary thing about it. Too many mistakes. I don't know what a screen to Jordan Wilson off to the side and not a Cameron McDonald, Jackson West, anybody else, but your rushing guy or your run game blocker tight end is taking screens. That just doesn't make any sense to me. That was one of the worst play calls I've seen Norvell do.
You said, the team.
Hold on, Dustin.
Go for it.
I lost it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Go, Dustin. Get your thoughts. We haven't heard from D-Lou. Let D-Lou get in here.
I was just saying, like you said, Logan. I mean, they looked completely different than what they did against Notre Dame. I mean, the fight just wasn't there. The energy wasn't there. I mean, they were lackadaisical. It was just crazy. I mean, a complete 180. I mean, a train wreck. And like you said earlier, Nate, this is the worst loss in Florida State's history as a program. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And, all that momentum that they had built leading into last week and after the game and everything, I mean, it's completely out the window now.
Mm-hmm. I think tonight we saw the youth of this team just by them, just the lack of focus and just the inconsistency of play. And I think we saw some really the first questionable decisions, in my opinion, of Norvell in terms of play calling and personnel. I've never been a Fuller fan. I don't think that, like I said, you should be able to score 3 touchdowns against this team. So it should have never gotten to that point. But, 3rd and goal, you line up in the Wildcat. 3rd and 1 to win the game, you line up in Wildcat. I just don't understand those calls, man.
I'm fed up.
I don't get it.
The Wildcat thing has got to be calmed down. I don't know what the fascination is there, because that was ran last year quite a bit, but I don't understand what the fascination is.
If you're adamant with it, why not run RPO with Jordan Travis?
Yeah,
man, just let him do his thing.
Or why not have Jordan Travis as the guy in the Wildcat, just so there's a possibility of a throw. But no, we're gonna have a running back do it. So, I'm really trying to hold back.
It's a great way to. So it's a nice way to start off Sports Illustrated. Hey, we are going to keep it nice and PG here.
I want to just let it go, but
yeah,
the simple fact is this coaching staff tonight used this game for in-game tinkering, in-game whatever they were doing. That's what practice is for. When you get into the game, you have your personnel. Who cares if someone gets your feelings hurt, they don't touch the ball or they don't get enough burn. You got to run with your 40, 45 players and just go with it.
Yeah.
I think there's too much rotation on defense. I don't know. I've always been anti-heavy rotation. Yeah, you have to sub and you have to sub, but I think that's one thing why the 2013 offense was so good is that they were so short with the receivers in terms of health. And so I think that builds up continuity with the team. So it's just an ugly situation.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. I think your running backs are Corbin and Ward, and that should be it. It didn't seem like there was any kind of success that Toafili was finding. Helton dropped that. I mean, that probably would have started the whole momentum for them just to kind of run Jacksonville State out of the stadium, in my opinion, and drop that ball from a veteran. That just cannot happen. Beautiful ball from Milton. That's not shouldn't be allowed. Shouldn't be allowed to have another. I don't know. I'm maybe being a little too stern here, but shouldn't be allowed to have another snap. I mean, as a veteran to do that, it's disappointing. And overall, to have this whole team, I mean, getting, Jermaine Johnson was getting back there a little bit, but after that,
he was getting back there the entire game.
Yeah, he was getting back there, but after that, I'm trying to find anybody else. And McClendon got in there and had a few plays, splash plays.
Love it.
The defensive line pretty good.
Defensive line played a really good game. But I think
just let them throw all over them, though.
Like you said, Logan, this coaching staff's got to make a decision, man. These guys, you drop a pass, you go sit down. If that means that the receivers are Portier, McLean, Williamson, and Burrell, so damn be it. All we heard about Andrew Parchment, what was his ability, in the deep game. But why are you throwing deep to a 5'8" receiver and Andrew Parchment, who excelled in that, is not getting those opportunities? Why do you keep throwing deep to Keyshawn Helton? I don't understand it. I don't get it. I just don't. I don't get it.
And even the one deep ball he did get, he got that OPI, which we never got a replay on.
Parchment.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I still think McLean caught that ball in the end zone.
I don't know.
It's
It was a
50-50.
it was a call that could have gone either way. I wasn't
Yeah,
upset about that one. I was more upset that we were in 4th and 2 anyways in that situation. You should have scored long before that. I didn't hate the play call. I didn't hate the call on the field.
No.
Like that's a 50-50 call. It could have gone either way.
Yeah, if they would have called up a touchdown on the field when they reviewed it, it would have stood. I mean, they wouldn't have been able to reverse it. So it was just one of those plays.
I don't know if I like a fade to the long side of the field on 4th and 2. I don't know if I like that play call.
And then the one that went to McLean.
Yeah, there's just not a lot
of people won't like it going to a true freshman either. But
yeah,
he's deserved it, in my opinion.
He's deserved that.
He's the one that's deserved it. I'm trying to find if anybody else deserving.
Yeah,
he's the one that's deserved it. But
I don't disagree. I'm just saying there's going to be some people going, "Why are we throwing a jump ball at a true freshman?" I don't disagree.
I think that should not be the number one concern from any FSU fans. If anybody's mad about that, like I just said, you're throwing screens to your 255-pound, 260-pound tight end on screens.
No, he dropped the ball. The guy his size should be able to absorb a hit in the back. Should be able to catch the ball. Was it Dustin or Logan? I don't know, man. I'm just so fucking mad.
I'm in it's in like in a speechless kind of mind because I'm going back and I'm looking at the Willie days and I go and look at this and I'm like, how does this even appropriately happen with the talent? Even with you have the talent that still shouldn't even be a thing. They got blown out by UAB last weekend. People blown out 35-0.
Well, Florida State beat the same team last year. It was 45-21, right?
Yeah, but they were up 21-14 at the half. They were up 21-7 at one point.
Right, but Florida State fought back and then blew them out. And in this game, you're down 7-0 again. You come back, you take a 14-7 lead into halftime. You're feeling like, okay, this is kind of like a similar story. And I don't know what happened after the break because, I mean, the offense completely fell apart. The defense, I thought, had an outstanding third quarter. And then you get into the fourth quarter and you give up a 97-yard drive, which you get an interception on that drive, but it's negated due to a targeting penalty, which Florida State, 11 penalties for 114 yards tonight. That's almost as many passing yards as they had in the game. So, I mean, man, it was just terrible. Like, I don't even know what to say about it.
Stupid flags.
You had another long game that was negated because of Dante Lucas down the field again.
There's a lot.
That happened like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, that was crazy.
Dante Lucas had, I think, 2 or 3 situational penalties that negated first downs. You can't have that. That Norvell's got to just put that kid on the bench. No matter who it is, if you can't do what you got to do, you're gonna go sit down.
Yeah,
and I like I said, I'm not a fan of Fuller, and I'm not going to jump on that. Let's fire Fuller right now. But tonight wasn't on him. So, the last play, yes, but again, Florida State should not be in a situation where they have to prevent Jacksonville State from scoring to beat them.
And even on that drive, you had, I think, Jacksonville State in their own territory early on. It was a 3rd and 9 or a 3rd and 10, and you get the stop, but it was a pass interference. I think it was Brownlee.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah, Jerry Jones on that one, deep near the goal line on the other end.
It was questionable.
It's just the same story.
He didn't even need to. Like he went over the top for no reason. He could have undercut the route and had an interception, but he went over the top of it.
It's like these DBs, they just still haven't learned. I mean, you're seeing the same technical errors, miscommunications in the secondary, dumb penalties. They just haven't learned.
Nah, same old every week.
Do we put that on them more or on the coaches more? I mean, now it's second year under this coaching staff. And I mean, it's terrible tonight. I don't know.
It's got to be a mix. Both. I mean,
in the game preview, we pretty much laughed about Jacksonville State's passing offense. Whatever. I think they had Austin was it 70 something yards against UAB, like the 1.9 yards attempt. And then they come in here and put up, how many was it in the fourth quarter? So Jacksonville State had like 77 passing yards all of last week. They put up 146 in the fourth quarter alone tonight.
Yeah. So, hey, we all predicted Florida State to win, and
I mean, who
pretty
didn't?
good about it.
Like, who didn't pick FSU to win? This is a game they should have won handily.
Hey, at least we're tied, boys. We're still tied on the season. I've just never seen anything like that, and I hate hearing it from people that have been like my dad. I'm in the stands watching it with him, and other people around that are well over my age, and I hear the same thing. I'm like, oh my god, this is how horrific it is. And the crowd, I mean, I feel bad for the crowd because the crowd showed up. It's friggin' Jacksonville State, and they showed up, like it was a good ACC matchup. And I'll tell you what, good luck having anybody for Louisville. Good luck. That just went down the drain, and I talked about it with my dad. Bye-bye. See ya. It's all about having to build it all the way. You're back at 0.0 again with the fan base.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it is.
There's a legitimate chance that Florida State goes into that game 0-3 because now you're going onto the road for the first time this season against, a damn good Wake Forest team that is, always soundly prepared and ready to play. And they beat Florida State the last couple of matchups. So,
yeah, and what sucks too is fans too. It's already early September and the season's over. Like you're already thinking about how's my pro team going to do? What's the basketball team program looking like? It's over once again for how many years now in a row? Like
Austin, you're up, man. Your turn.
59 days. The countdown is on.
God, as long as basketball doesn't have to face friggin' Michigan, I feel all right then.
No, yeah. Next week's going to really tell us what's going to happen in the rest of the season. They come out and they win. They may salvage something, but they come out and lose. You're really looking at what's left on the schedule. Who can they really necessarily beat?
Is this a bowl? Is this a bowl?
I don't think we need to go that far.
I predicted no bowl before the season. I would like to say that.
Oh,
might be worse than I thought, though.
You sounded depressing before, but now people are like, wait a second. I don't know. I don't know. that was Jacksonville State who got whipped by UAB 35-0. So just put up 17 points. 17 points.
Which Florida
Notre
State
Dame
team
just
is
really
this?
bad.
That's what. Which team is FSU? Notre Dame or what we just saw tonight?
What is Notre Dame? They took them a game-winning pass to beat Toledo. What is Notre Dame? So, there's so many questions that you can ask on both sides of it, and we won't know what FSU is until, at least after Wake Forest, but if not after Louisville.
Right now, my gut tells me that Notre Dame is severely overrated, and that is, FSU competed with them and took them to overtime and could have won that game, but this is still a team that has a lot of warts and just has not been able to take that next step, man.
Being in the stands and seeing Jacksonville State grab their flag and plant it on the Seminole logo. And Travis Jay was the only one on the field of a player, and he just hauled ass, and the deputies had to hold him back from fighting with the Jacksonville State squad because they were taunting him the whole time, but he was the last one on the field and fighting them.
I get it, Only thing I'd be pissed off is someone stomped on the Bobby Bowden hat. I
think you'd see fans going out of they jump on the field.
Yeah, Doak Campbell isn't what it used to be. So they lost to Notre Dame. They lost now Jacksonville State. Last year they beat Duke at home in Carolina. They've lost to Boise State at home. Doak Campbell's not what it used to be, and that's a direct reflection of the team. Doak hasn't been great since 2014. Let's just tell it like it is. So plant your stupid flag and congrats on the W, but
it really hasn't been the same since North Carolina hit that game-winning field goal in, what was it, 15?
No, it was 16.
16? Yeah, and their kicker's going down the field doing the chow. Doak hasn't been the same since then.
You know, Florida State should have just upped and paid Jimbo what he wanted. Let's just go.
Going there. Oh, we made it now.
Let's just
We
go
are
there.
here. We are here.
Let's go down the rabbit hole. Florida State should just nut it up. Andy Miller should just shut his yap, got out of the way.
You wanted Andy Miller to do something? That's funny.
Give the guy what he wanted. But here we are, and I'm a Norvell fan. I'm not giving up on him yet.
No.
But
where do we go from here?
But where do we go from here? Exactly.
Florida State, they've got to pick the pieces up on the field, but also the recruiting trail, because we've talked about all of the optimism with these recruits in Florida State. They've built a solid recruiting class at this point, top 10 in the country, multiple 5-star prospects committed, but losing to Notre Dame in overtime is one thing. Getting beat on a Hail Mary by an FCS team is another, and that's obviously not going to go over very well with a lot of recruits.
Well,
so I'm interested to see the comments we get.
Yeah,
in the next couple of days.
I think we all know that recruits don't see it like fans do, but I'll be
nationwide embarrassment.
I'll be, in panic mode if they lose next week. I think today, raises that level up, to maybe like not 5 alarm. I think it's like 2 alarms are going off right now. They go up to Wake Forest and go 0-3. Then I think you have a major problem.
Yeah, there's a few recruits, and you saw Sam McCullough tweeting.
Mm-hmm.
A few others that were a little in shock about what just happened, but they better show up next week, or that recruiting momentum splits off.
It's gone. It's done now. It's done. That it was done when the clock hit 0 today.
Now you've got to salvage it and get it back.
You got to hold on to it, but then you're
it's back at 0.
Cause.
It's back at 0.
Bad offensive play calling, bad defensive play, and calling there definitely at the end.
I think that you have some situations on defense that were executional bad. So I put that more on the players. But I think you really have to look at the last play. You should just bash Fuller for that call, and you're well within your right. But you also had 2 guys within a 3-yard radius of him that could have made a tackle that just whiffed.
It didn't even look possible. I was in the Champions Club, so that was opposite of where that touchdown was happening.
Mm-hmm.
But it just didn't look like it could even be possible that he would get in the end zone. It just didn't look right when the ball was coming to him, and there should have been a tackle right off the bat. And it just felt like slow motion of that happening right in front of our eyes. I've never been there nobody has never been there for something like that in person. Just the whole crowd just in disbelief off their phones, just knowing that's the end of it. Season's over.
So
it's the same story as the last couple of years. A lot of it, we've talked about the coaches. The coaches can only do so much, and in the end, it comes down to the guys on the field making the play.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I agree. Fuller made a bad defensive play call, but regardless, you've got Jarvis Brownlee and Sidney Williams right there. The game is over. If you tackle this guy at the 1-yard line, it doesn't matter. If you grab him by his leg, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. Just get his ass on the ground. There's just not even an attempt. And they looked all disappointed afterwards. Well, you didn't even try. It's just it's embarrassing. We'll see what happens next week.
I think it's go full on youth movement. Play the guys who are gonna not shoot you in the foot every time you try to have a positive 15-yard gain is negated because of a illegal man downfield or a chop block, which wasn't a chop block on Dylan Gibbons. That was not a chop block. That was a horrible call.
The refs were terrible.
They were dog.
Yeah, the refs are terrible as a whole. What was it? 24 penalties a night.
I can tell you right here, it was
a lumpy game. It's just
Oh, I hated that. I was telling my dad
Then-
that was one of the worst games I ever attended. I've attended so many since I was little. Every game since I've been little. That was one of the most irritating. Like I just hated being in there.
The
I
announcer
love football.
sucked.
That just
The refs
and
sucked.
the commercial break.
Offense sucked. Everything
80,000 commercial breaks on ACC Network. You would have thought we were on prime time Super Bowl. Holy mother F! I've never seen so many timeouts.
So let me add this in.
More than
There's
Notre
so
Dame
many
game.
injuries.
The game ended at 12, or not 12, but practically
24 penalties, 225 penalty yards combined. I mean, that's
insane.
Oh, it made me want to vomit.
That's crazy.
It was terrible to be.
That's
attendance at it.
referees in instilling their stuff into the game.
Someone asked real quick. There was a few people starting quarterback.
Mackenzie
Gabby
Milton.
Gordon.
Gabby Milton.
I don't think it changes.
No, stop with the changes, man. Just choose one, ride with it. 3 of the wheels are falling off already. You're on one. You got 1 wheel left. Ride it until that falls off. It is what it is. Ride with one. Use Travis in the RPO, short yardage.
I don't understand why they
rid of
don't
the
use
Wildcat.
him more. He didn't have his helmet on for majority of the rest of the game. I was wondering why aren't you utilizing him? One of your best. He was your best runner last year. Why isn't he not on the field? It's a lot of blasphemy. I can't wait to watch some of the game, but you're not using one of your best playmakers on the team.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't care who the starting quarterback is going forward, but I just think they have to establish some type of consistency at the position because, I mean, you can tell the receivers, I mean, they're just not in sync. And whether that's just, the process of Milton missing some time in fall camp or however much Florida State was rotating quarterbacks during the preseason. Either way, I mean, the chemistry's just not there tonight. You saw Milton have a couple miscommunications on some routes and the drops, obviously. I mean, all around, it was terrible from the passing offense.
Someone said it's Travis
Hunter?
Yeah, they're saying goodbye. Everybody in the chat saying goodbye to Travis Hunter.
Are they going somewhere?
Where's he headed? Oh,
Who knows?
I don't think it's at that point.
Let's relax a little bit, man. Okay. Yeah, it's an ugly loss.
Nate said earlier 5 minutes ago, it's done. It's over.
I mean, I'm not going to freak out in recruiting yet. I told you that. Recruits see this differently. Yeah, you have to produce on the field and all that stuff, but man,
I'm not worried about Travis.
They're not instant freak out. Oh, they lost. Let me type up a iPhone notepad decommitment and put it on my Twitter. It's not how it works.
Yeah, I don't think
everybody's 50-50 though in the chat. They're like, oh, don't freak out or anything. But
no,
they just did have its worst loss in history.
Just
so
they
have a point.
Notice.
They have a point. The worst loss in school history, of course.
Take the recruiting freak out and put it onto the team. That's where the freak out needs to be.
Well, it's a freak out in general. I mean, whoever's to blame, it's a freak out. Time to freak out.
The coaching staff is to blame. The players are to blame. That's what it comes down to. Coaches got to coach better. They got to know their personnel better and have a better flow of the game. That's why I want to stop with the quarterback stuff. It just kills the continuity of the offense. And like Dustin said, man, like we except for Austin because he's not. He played basketball. I don't know did you play football?
I did camps until I found out I had osteoporosis. So
yeah, good call. But I mean, different quarterbacks, even from the cadence of the way they throw.
He did do makeup. Though.
That's good.
If he played there, yeah.
Makeup
team.
Everything from these quarterbacks are different, and I think that's why you have just a broken, lumpy, discombobulated offense when it comes to the passing game. They run really well. Do what I think from this point forward, you do what you do well. You just pound it down people's throats, and you use the passing game to keep people honest. Mm-hmm. If that doesn't look great to the recruits, right now Florida State's in in a gotta win position. So,
Oh no shit!
I mean,
Desperation mode.
If that is, they become Army and run the damn triple option wing T offense, so damn be it. I don't care. Just get the win. Figure it out. But I think there's some legit question marks on some of the coaching staff. I think there's legit questions on some of these guys who are still getting major minutes, and Norvell's got to make a statement. And I don't know what that is, whether it's demoting a coach, firing a coach, or telling these guys like Helton who just killed the offense that, hey, like you said, go have a seat. Your time is up. I'm trying someone else. So can't continue to do the same thing over and over again. And that's what we're doing.
Just a little too cute. A little too cute overall. But we wanted to jump on here and do an instant reaction. It is 2:06 in the morning.
Yeah, I got to work.
And it's not so fun to talk about a loss like this either. But here we are. Definitely appreciate everybody kind of hanging in here. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button. We're also on a podcast. Hear the Spear on iTunes and everywhere like that. But Florida State falls to Jacksonville State and a last-second heave, 20-17. We'll be recording Wednesday nights, always at 8:30 p.m. We'll be recapping this one fully and then moving on to Wake Forest because it's going to continue to get interesting heading there. And we'll talk. I know Dustin and Nate will get in touch with some recruits and get their thoughts on the game and everything of that nature, and should be interesting. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out with us this evening. Everybody be good, and we'll talk to you guys next week on Hear the Spear. See you guys.